Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on MisplacedStraws.com, where music comes to life. And my guest today is one of those names that inevitably comes up when you're talking about the great singers in rock and metal. He and his band Steelheart were responsible for hits like Everybody Loves Eileen, Love Ain't Easy, the track Steelheart, and of course, I'll Never Let You Go. He and the band are back now with a really cool song called Trust and Love that we're going to get pretty deep into. Please welcome Miljenko Matijevic.
Matijevic. It's good.
Matijevic.
Matijevic. Good.
Welcome.
Well,
So,
thank you. Hello.
so this new single, Trust and Love, just to kind of give the wide overview at first, came about as sort of a love letter of sorts to the people of Korea from your time there. And since then, it's really become so much more than that. You have videos in English and Korean, now in Mandarin. But let's start off with Korea and the origin of the song. Talk a little bit about your time there and what led to the song.
Well, Steelheart has been going to Korea. I've been going to Korea since 1989. And She's Gone is still the #1 karaoke song in Korea today. I mean, it's unbelievable. And which, by the way, thank you. I'm honored. So I've lived there for a little while. I work there. I have friends there, and I know that, feeling the energy and the connection. I just one day I was watching the news, and there was just so much. I just didn't understand. I couldn't put together why the country is separated. And because you got people from Korea, from South Korea, who have families in North Korea. They don't see each other. Could you imagine being separated and you can't go? I mean, it's just like, it's awful, right? And anyway, so also watching the news, and it's like, we're going to bomb this and we're going to do this, and all these threats between it just, and then the human trafficking and the kid trafficking. And I was like, oh God, it's like, I don't know. So I went by the piano and I just started writing a song. I said, let me write a song for that, for the unification of people. And immediately trust and love just came through. Trust and love, trust and peace. I can't live till I know I'm free. And it just wrote itself. So I followed basically whatever's guiding me through this, and I just followed the spirits. And I wrote the song in English, of course, and then we translated into Korean. And when I finished it in Korean, I was like, well, this could be a nice unification for my country too, because we went through a horrible separation. And I was like, well, let me sing it in Croatian. So I translated in Croatian. I sang it in Croatian. Then I finished that. I was like, wow, this is like, the energy's pretty big here. So maybe I should sing in Italian. It's only across the channel, right? So Italian, I sang it in an hour. Okay. It just came so, I don't know, I felt like I was Pavarotti or something. It was kind of so easily came to me. So when I finished Italian, it's like, wow, I got to sing it in the second most biggest language in the world. I got to sing in Spanish. So I sang it in Spanish, and then Portuguese. And then it's like, what other country should I sing as a big, well, I got to do in Chinese. So I did Mandarin and Hindi and Japanese. And I also sang it in Russian. And I look forward to releasing that because I think they can really use it. I think they can use it more than anyone, And it escalated into 10, and now it's into, I got to finish working on Swedish. I'm working on the German, working on the French, and then most definitely I want to do Arabic as well. And I'll keep going. It doesn't matter. I'll keep, doing as many languages as possible. But it just, it just grew. And the song, it just has a soul of its own. It really does. It's the song wasn't written, how would I say, in a way for me to have this big world hit and I'm the guy and I'm saving the world. That's not what it's about. It's done from the heart. It's done with a peaceful love energy. And it's just guided me through this journey that has just been unbelievable, from creating the song. And during the pandemic, it's been 2 years in the making, by the way, so everyone knows this is not something that I'm jumping on a bandwagon for the, with love and respect for the horrible things that are happening in Ukraine. I kind of, I guess by foreseed or something came to me earlier before this all happened. And the way I started is I needed to have a big chorus, and I had this chorus plan. I had a choir planned. We were going to record it. We had kids. We had everything all set up here in Orange County, and it all fell through when the pandemic hit. So I was thinking, well, how is it supposed to happen? Again, I raised my hand and said, let it happen. And I was like, oh, here's how we're going to do it. So I sang the chorus, and I put the lyrics in the chorus on my website, and I put them to my fans on my Instagrams and Facebook and everything. I said, hey, please sing the chorus and send me in your vocal. We're doing this world peace, beautiful song. I don't care how you sound. Please just send me your energy and your love. So I got about close to 350 people who sent in their vocal. They're all in the chorus, all of them.
That's awesome.
They're all in there. And, some weren't as good as others, but it didn't matter. It was the passion and the way they sang it with love. You could just hear that they're going for it. That's what I wanted. And it really reflected on the chorus. It really showed the energy and the unification of bringing people together, and that's the purpose of the song, is putting people together and raising our vibration to a new level of thinking. So after that, then we did a 40-piece orchestra in Macedonia for the strings, and then on to other things as well, video and all of that. So,
and as a vocalist, I mean, I'm sure you spent time in Korea, so the language was familiar, and of course the Croatian and the English. But when it came to all of those other languages, did was it almost a phonetic learning, or did you actually learn what it was you needed to say?
No, it's got to be both. I can't sing something I don't know what I'm talking about. That's just out of the question, And I would go through the lyrics with them, And so first I'd give it. Let's say I did with Lane in China. Beijing. She was in Beijing. So I said, hey, okay, so why don't you translate it? And she translated. Okay, now let's talk about it. Tell me what exactly this means. This means, okay, oh, okay, well, let's change that. Can you say this? Would it be, oh yeah, that would sound better. Okay, can we sing, this will sing better. So it takes time to really put the dots in place. And then once we got that, then it would be, I would have them sing a rough form. Even they would sing the melody right, but at least they would sing the words correctly. And then I would listen very carefully, and I would sing the words, phonetically, so to speak, exactly. And then we would go deep into the details. And that's where it's really important. And it was really important for me so this message that I'm trying to give out, that's why all these languages, because I wanted to, kind of show the respect to each country. If you didn't understand it in English, let me say it to you in your language, that kind of thing. And, but the nuances that are so important, like in Korean, when you're saying sa, it's very, 사랑해요. There's little subtleties in every language. So you don't sound like an American trying to sing Hindi.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, we don't want that, And I really, really put the time and the energy, the focus to do it to its, utmost, top level, where people cannot tell that it's an American trying to sing, different language.
And you mentioned the video. I mean, the video is absolutely gorgeous. It's this big epic directed by the son of Robert Altman. I mean, how did
No, I directed it. He is the DP. Jamie, can we fix that, please?
That is exactly what it says on the press release.
My bad.
Yeah.
So
No,
how did the whole
but
video come about?
okay, so the whole video, I had a vision, what I wanted to do. It came scattered in different parts, but what I did know is that I wanted an opening with a dialogue, and I was trying to find a perfect place where to do that. And then I found the Korean friendship bell. So when I started back on the song, I said, well, let me go back to the original thought of putting the peninsula together of love, right? So I said, let me bring the heritage in of Korean people. Let me bring back their past, where they started, where the love was, where they're, what they wore back in the day, you know? And that's where, when I found the bell, I was like, So I connected with, I call the Korean culture here in LA. And we had dinner, and also the director of the park. And I told him, hey, I want to shoot this video at the park there. I'd like to do an opening dialogue with me and the director coming and striking this bell, like peace, you know, a ring through the world for peace. And we did that. And we had this amazing meal. And after the meal, we're all hugging and kissing. We're going to make this video there. You know, they opened their hearts, whatever you need. So I also wanted some dancers, and I picked out there's different styles of clothes and different style of dancing, you know, and these girls did an absolute phenomenal job. And there's one mistake I made that there's so many things going on, and I really regret that I didn't film them alone, just with the music, doing that dance, because everything was so rushed. There was so much going on. The production was huge. You know, it's like every minute is really accounted for. You know, we barely got all the shots we got. So I think maybe that's why it didn't happen. But anyway, and I just had this vision. I also had the vision of the little girl. I wanted the little girl holding a flower, singing the chorus, you know, showing the innocence of you know, what we're doing. We're hurting our, you know, our younger generation. You know, we're already, you know, we all died tomorrow. A lot of us already have lived quite a bit, you know, but they haven't. So I wanted to show the innocence. And it just escalated. I wanted the choir. We had to show the choir, and that's why we brought it all into the Warner Grand Theater. And we have everyone there singing, all the people that came together, just the orchestra, the choir, the dancers, all the crew. Bobby, I connected with Bobby Altman. As soon as we met, we were like, okay, we're done. Get over here, give me a hug, you know. And I mean, look, I mean, Robert is yes, he's also a director, and I mean, he's done so many amazing movies and TV shows, including filmed some of his own dad's movies, you know. So it was over 700 people that came together on this video. That's a lot of people to make a video and a song. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. It just took me. You know, I didn't what's the word? I'm only hanging on to keep going and do what I'm supposed to do. I'm the messenger, you know.
Now, kind of taking a look back through your career a little bit, you know, when that first record came out, you know, on MCA, after the band moves from the East Coast out to LA, and, you know, record starts a little slow. And back then the formula was, you know, the first single is the hard song, the second single is the ballad. And you guys broke when I'll Never Let You Go hit the MTV airwaves. Were you ready for that? You know, did you guys know that, okay, as soon as that single comes out, it's going to hit? Or, you know, how did you approach that sudden success?
You know, well, it wasn't sudden. Steelheart was it was painstaking. I'll tell you this. It really was. I mean, we were rehearsing for years in Norwalk, Connecticut.
Yep.
Okay. And rehearsing and rehearsing. It's like, oh my God, if I rehearse one more day, I don't know what's going to happen. And then finally we got signed. And then when we got signed, we made a record. And then we made a record. We sat for 9 months. They just shelved it. Didn't do anything with it. Okay. Kind of not sure what to do with it, I guess, kind of thing. I don't know what they were thinking. But then in Japan, She's Gone exploded. I mean, Masahito, he was a very influential DJ at that time. He played the song once on the radio on his show, and he got over 2,500 phone calls, like literally insanity. And so I remember my manager said, we're going to Japan because to do some press, some stuff. And he didn't tell me exactly what was going on. And when we landed, I got off the plane. There was like 300-400 people waiting for me, fans at the airport. It was like, this is crazy, you know, coming from rehearsing into that. It was just like, whoa, you know, it was really intense. And anyway, so I did some amazing interviews, and we went there. We performed 3 shows, really big shows in Japan. And when that happened, Universal kind of woke up and it's like, we better do something. You know, we need to jump on this. This is not good. They're doing really well in a different country, but not in our own country. So they started jumping in a little bit, but it didn't happen until a DJ in Salt Lake City played the song I'll Never Let You Go late night, like midnight hour, late night hours. And he started getting a lot of calls in for the song. And so then they moved it into a morning. And when they moved it into the morning or the afternoon, the song just exploded. And it went to #1 on that station. And when it went to #1 on that station, it just spread like wildflower, you know. And I'll never forget, we were on tour, and we were in a hotel room. I remember all the guys, and we were in Florida, I believe. I remember the door being open. It was nice and sunny, and we're watching MTV, and we're all on pins and needles, you know, and we're watching what video, and it says, and the #2 most requested video, Steelheart, Angel. We were like, you know, that was like, come on. I mean, you know, that's every artist wants that recognition, you know, and it felt really good. It was like that was a lot of fun. There's a beauty of it when you're an artist and when you're accepted, when people accept your art and respect it. It's really a feeling that I can't even explain.
And then when it came time for the second record in '92, Tangled in Rains, which is my favorite Steelheart record, you had the horrific accident that you were lucky to live through and had to try to come back from. And it effectively spelled the end of that lineup of the band. Now, music was beginning to change. That record wasn't quite as successful as the first one. The accident sort of forced the issue, but what do you think would have happened had it played out? Would the band have gone in with that lineup for a third record, or with the changing times, would we have seen something else happen?
You know, I think, you know, we can only speculate, you know, but the one thing I'll be very honest about is that, you know, let me explain. All my life, I've always felt like I need to do something more in music, something great, you know. And how can I explain this? Here I am on the bus. We're doing the 49. We're on a tour, and we're doing this first leg or second leg. We're on 49 show, and manager goes, "Hey, you want to do a show Halloween night, and it'll be 50. We'll take a break at 50, you know, and Denver Arena." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, let's do it, and we'll take a break then. It'll be great, you know." And I'm on the bus, and I'll never forget it. Everybody's just hammered, wasted, burnt. And I'm sitting there going, this is it? Is this the big time? This is it? It's like, I need more. There's got to be something more to this, something bigger, better, just more. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, so that's when the accident happened, and when that accident happened, I don't know how I got up, but I walked off stage, and by the way, it hit me in the back of the head. The lighting truss fell this way as I was trying to walk away, and it cracked my head open, broke my nose, my cheekbone, my jaw, twisted my back, my knee. I mean, it was a serious accident. I should not be here now. But anyway, sitting in the back, they put a fold-out chair in the middle of the room, middle of the backstage, not even in the medical room. And I had a conversation with life, God, whatever you want to call it. And I saw my whole life like a movie come to me. I'm going to close my eyes, by the way. Close my eyes, and it became silence. It was really bizarre. I could remember it as it was right now. And just film of just all these visuals, past this, where you are here, your asshole, nice guy, like really quick. And I'm just like, boom, what do you want to do? And I was like, what do I want to do? Well, either you could live your life out normal, forget the music, just live a normal person, or you can keep going. Door number 2, it wasn't even a thought. I knew I had to keep going. It was move forward. And I woke up in the ambulance with the oxygen mask on my face. So what I mean to say by that, I feel like there had to be a change. We were together for so long. We were in the trenches for so long. It was time. I think it was time. I would have not have to have gone through an accident, because I've lost years of time. I've lost memory. I've lost a lot. I lost everything during that accident, just so everyone knows. I mean, I ended up literally on the floor in the futon of my friend's house in like an attic. It was just, and I'm not on drugs, and I'm not an alcoholic. It was nothing to do with that. It was just life just went, and maybe that was meant to be for me to build the man that I am today. I don't know, you know what I mean? But it definitely had a part of building that person. So I guess to answer your question, I think it was inevitable that had to have change. I just wish it didn't happen that way.
Yeah, exactly. We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you came back with, a new lineup of Steelheart. There was the Rockstar movie where I think a lot of people didn't even realize at first that was your voice coming out of Mark Wahlberg with We All Die Young. And the great thing about that soundtrack is it's 3 of my all-time favorite singers, with yourself, Jeff Scott Soto, and Brian Vander Ark. I always find it amazing that the 3 of you all essentially played kind of the same character. As somebody who has done some acting and things like that, I mean, did you ever wish that you had a little more in that movie than just the voice, or was it?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be in there, and I was, and then I was supposed to be in the movie with some cameo stuff, but they pulled me out because it became a different energy, a different vibe, and the vibe was that I was not allowed to say a word to the world that I was singing. So could you imagine going to the Forum when you have 18,000 people losing their mind, Mark singing, and I'm sitting there going, oh shit, man, this is like, and no one knows,
Yeah.
So for years, I was just, that's what it is. It's it's just, movie business, but now everybody, it's all over the internet that it's me singing. So now it's, cat's out of the bag, so to speak, but yeah, it was a hell of a ride, to keep the mouth shut, so to speak.
Yeah, and mention how you've had a couple lineups of the band. The last record was out in 2017, which was a great record. I like that one a lot. With Trust and Love out as a single, any chance of a new record coming out? And would you ever look back to some of the original bandmates to come back into the fold, if it's just for a song or a gig?
Mm. Life works in crazy ways. You just don't know. My heart and ears are always open to anything, because you just don't know what life may bring. You know what I mean? You say, some people say, no, this is never going to happen. This is never going to happen. And all of a sudden it happens.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll just say it at that. I'm open. And as far as new record, the 30th album is coming out this year for sure. And I've re-recorded She's Gone with just piano, vocal, and a 40-piece orchestra. Also, Mama Don't You Cry is also piano, vocal, and a 40-piece orchestra. There's another song called In Love, which is 4 cellos and a vocal and a piano. And then we got Everybody Loves Eileen. We re-recorded as a full band, rocking. We All Die Young has been remixed and remastered, and we're going to re-release that as a single as well. So, because We All Die Young, when it was out for the movie, for those of you who don't know, that movie was number 2 in the box office when it came out that first weekend, and We All Die Young was going to radio that week as well, and they did a video. They put a ton of promotion behind it. Warner Brothers did a great job, and sure enough, we had 7/11, yeah,
9/11.
September 11th.
Yeah.
That could have 7/11. Well, anyway, so 9/11, and when that happened, President Bush said no songs on a radio with the word die, blood, or kill, or anything like that. So immediately it just destroyed the release of that song and the movie. That's where everything collapsed, So, the song there's still a very popular song, and it never got the chance, in the sun. So we're going to re-release it and see if it gets its day in the sun.
Hopefully it will.
Happens.
It definitely deserves it.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah. Well, we've been spending some time here today with Miljenko Matijevic. The Steelheart track is called Trust and Love. And I believe you got, 3 videos up now? Is English, Korean, and Mandarin all available on video?
There's 2 videos. There's the English and the Korean version. But now we're just unfolding the singles. So the Mandarin single is out. The next one is going to be Spanish. And then I believe Portuguese or Hindi, and we're just going to keep rolling them out. But the Spanish one now we're going to release. I'm excited about that because that's a big language. So I hope we reach the masses. Hey, look at my shirt. See,
there you go. Trust and love. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It's been a pleasure to catch up with you. Best of luck with the song. And I look forward to doing this again when the 30th anniversary record comes out or anything else you have. You're always welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Cheers.
My pleasure.
Take care.
Thanks.
All the best. Bye-bye.